Only 6% of the U.S. population are currently enrolled in college at this exact moment in time. So, Bernie Sanders fans who often push that college education in America should be 100% free for the students who enroll in it, I have one essential question to ask you. If only 6% of the people are in college, why should 94%, an overwhelming majority of the people in America, be forced through compulsory taxation to pay so that the minority, only 6%, can get your, quote, free college? Free is an obvious illusion, but really means something truthfully less appealing, which Bernie Sanders fans refuse to put on their banners. Free really means paid for by others through taxes. But obviously Bernie Sanders fans are not going to put that less appealing phrase on their signs, slogans, and t-shirts. The sound of free education for all sounds a lot easier for people to rally and get behind. However, it's not for all, since only 6% of the population are actually in college. Yet, there already exists means that one can acquire knowledge in any area for free. After regular schooling of the basics of learning, reading, writing, English, basic mathematics, basic competency skills, when one graduates through kindergarten through high school and has graduated the 12th grade, if you have graduated high school, which is, quote, free for all, and you should be competent enough to know how to acquire knowledge on your own without the need for big, expensive buildings, big parking lots, classrooms, football stadiums, gigantic cafeterias that are expensive to run every day, school administrators and accountants, and timed, standardized tests and gigantic lecture halls with bright lights running up electric bills and having plumbers and janitors cleaning and maintaining and dusting and every single building. You know how expensive it is to run a college with all that stuff? Do you really need all that to prove that you got the knowledge? Free education can already be obtained from public libraries, museums, mentors, friends, other people's bookshelves, meetup groups, community clubs. They even give courses at Whole Foods on how to eat healthy and make recipes and how to shop for healthy food. You can go anywhere for all sorts of stuff. The internet. Just use a freaking search engine. Learn how to use a search engine. Learn how to discern and sort through all the crap and learn the difference between an opinion and well-researched facts that are cited with sources that you can look up. I think we learned how to do all that in high school. I think we learned how to discern when you come across something in a book, in an encyclopedia, or on the internet. How to try to discover whether it is truthful or not, and whether it's an opinion. And we should all eventually get to the point where we realize that almost everything, including what happened in history, including what scientists say, we should understand that pretty much everything is opinion. Almost everything in life is opinion anyway. But my point is that you can obtain tons of opinions that you can sort through as facts. You can obtain tons of knowledge, tons of information from the internet, encyclopedias, public libraries, websites, and actually anybody can walk into a state or public college and use their library for free without even paying, or usually without even providing identification. Even homeless people can get into many public schools and use their libraries, LexisNexis, microfilms, newspaper archives for free. Folks, quote, education is essentially free already. Books are free. Just go to the fucking library. Use the fucking internet, people. When you go to college, you're basically paying for a teacher and the high electric bill of having a huge lecture hall and administrators and janitors and cafeterias, okay, and parking enforcement officers and all the parking fines you pay when you go to school. You're basically paying for all this overhead for a teacher to supervise you and grade your standardized tests, and spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars that you could more wisely have spent to give you direct access to better skills, on the job training, or experience in the field that you would like to start out and work in. So my question is it really fair to make everybody's taxes subsidize the choices, the stupid choices for people that go to most, liberal arts colleges? I'm not talking about if you want to learn to become a chiropractor, yes, go to chiropractic school. That's different. If you want to learn to become a doctor, if you want to learn to become a lawyer, okay. But most colleges in America that are just after high school standard undergraduate colleges are not worth the money, folks. Is it fair to force everybody to subsidize the poor choices, the bad financial choices of a minority, 6% of the population, who choose to enroll in an overrated, glorified, structured, quote, educational undergraduate experience, which is, let's break it down, folks. Undergraduate college is overwhelmingly more about a glorified social experience lifestyle, consisting of frat parties and sorority parties, athletics, strawberry festivals, political or religious clubs, and, of course, one's first experience for most teens, one's first experience living in a dorm and having a roommate. That's what undergraduate college is really about. That's what you're paying for, folks, is to experience having a roommate, living on your own instead of under your parents' roof for the first time. Frat parties, other kinds of parties, athletics, football stadiums, strawberry festivals, and all the other things that they do. That's really what you're paying for. You're not really paying to acquire knowledge. Knowledge is free already, people! Just use Google. Just use YouTube. Just use a public library. Buy the textbooks and encyclopedias yourself for the curriculums and the areas and the topics that you want to learn. You can even walk into Barnes & Noble and pick the books off the shelf and just sit there and drink a coffee and put the books back on the fucking shelf and learn for free. Or you can go to Amazon and buy if you want to save money, you can buy used versions of books for like 5 cents plus shipping. A lot of the books that I buy, people just want to get rid of them, I guess, and recycle them. But when you go to college, you buy all these books anyway. Why not just buy the books and read them on your own? You're basically paying for a glorified supervision and gigantic overhead, and a social experience. Those duped into believing that the quote free college movement is the solution, the free undergraduate college movement is the solution for our youth and for our economy and for the next generation of leaders and citizens of America. Obviously, these people do not take the time to analyze and dissect and compare or even think, just to clear your mind and think about the amount of time and money spent acquiring knowledge in an area just by absorbing and researching, reading the books and researching the references and learning on your own and discussing it with it, bouncing ideas back and forth, discussing it with another friend or somebody else that is studying the same topic, right? It is beneficial to discuss what you're reading and trying to learn with another individual or a mentor. That's valuable. But the cost of acquiring that on your own, finding one or two other people studying the same books as you and talking with them, versus the cost of acquiring the knowledge in an institution over budgeted school with administrators making six figures and accountants paying all the teachers paychecks in the cafeteria, people, the cooks paychecks, all this stuff. All that overhead, the electric bills, the water bills, the plumbing, the sewage bills on the college campuses, the parking, the stadium, the football, the athletics, all that overhead is 99% of the costs. The actual acquiring of the knowledge costs just the cost of the books and your internet access bill every month. So, folks, this free education movement, these people are missing the mark. People are blowing money on and adults are blowing money on their children's glorified social experience and their first experience at dorming. This is all masked incorrectly and called higher education.